So I worked really hard for this, so you shouldn't even be worthy to look at it. You know, and I'm afraid that somebody's going to take this. Those are all feelings that cause separation.
They're all lower vibrational feelings.
They are. They're not about sharing oneness, about, you know what, this is really yours. I don't really own this anyway. Because in the absolute, there is no such thing as yours and mine.
It's true.
You know, it's all one, you know, we're all part of the same, right? And so this is really yours anyway. You see? So
Well,
it's those types of feelings, of course, that's just one facet, you know, the separation, you know, hate, resentment, competition, insecurities. These are all emotions that if we look at them, separate us from people. How can I resent you and say that you're part of me?
You can't.
Not easily, right?
No.
How could I say that I'm jealous of you or that, you know, I don't like you and yet still say, oh yes, but I believe we're one?
That's true. Yeah. You can't. You can't have a negative and a positive at the same time.
Well, we like to believe that we can. You know, there's a lot, you know, we, you know, may go through, you know, rituals and, you know, attend service and say 3 Hail Marys
And
every night.
Spend the rest of the week cutting people up.
Well, you know, and not be vibrating at that place
Right,
of
all
that
the
whole
time.
collective unity, that those fields. We call them fields in spirituality, holding a field that, you know, brings together, that unites, that unifies in energy of love as opposed to separating. I like to compare it to a helium balloon, right? It needs to be filled before it can take off.
That's right.
Right? And how it gets filled is with energy, you know, some kind of fuel, air.
Right.
And this is how we have to feed the fields that are necessary to ascend this world and to bring us back into unity. We need to feed those fields, those helium balloons, with
Positive
love energy.
Yeah.
Yes, and if we don't, well, you know, we're going to be witnessing a lot more of these natural events. And
So in other words, our collective consciousness can put an end to these kind of things.
we can put an end to them. We can literally put an end to them, yes, and that's the great news. We can put an end to them.
By thinking positively.
The masses, by raising the consciousness. You know what, I'm one who's to say, we can do this, and that's why I teach, and that's why I write the books that I do, and that's why I'm sitting here. Because I believe that if we come together, collectively, we can completely shift what the masses have set into motion prior to having awareness. So we're hoping that we can bring awareness today.
So we're bringing awareness, and everybody starts coming from love and positive thoughts and looking at everybody else in a more positive way from a higher realm, let's say, then we can shift the whole atmosphere of the world.
We can if the masses.
The masses, it has to be a collective consciousness doing it.
Yes, but you know what? We're sitting here, and we know that there's viewers watching, and hopefully they can, you know what, call, you know, 10
Call their
friends and, you know, 10 family members.
Keep it going.
And they can, you know, tape the show and send it out to families and friends
Right.
across the globe. And,
Right.
you know, share it. And again, you know, there's many beautiful teachers and gurus and
Sure.
advocates around the world, just like you and I, who are sharing the same news. You know what? If we go on the internet, 2012 is not a mystery. And by the way, I don't think it's 2012, as I said earlier. I think that we're into full
Right now.
throttle ascension. And I think that the Mayans, based on where, you know, humanity was then, was foreseen 2012. I'm not contradicting them or Edgar Cayce. I happen to think that he's beautiful. And yet I'm going to say
that they might have, because it was
this is
so much
around the
time
corner.
ago.
We're already in full throttle ascension.
Yeah,
And 2012 is not the end. You know, the beginning of the end, but we will be in full ascension already, out
Now,
of this realm.
Out of this realm meaning what?
Into a higher realm
not
of
on
conscious.
Earth anymore?
Well, the Earth is not going to end.
Right.
Well, at least we're trying to prevent that. But the Earth in the three-dimensional frequency, okay, will cease to exist. And you know what? If ascension doesn't come, we're gonna, it's gonna destroy itself. By all the damage. What's the movie that Al Gore?
I'm not sure.
He put a wonderful documentary together regarding the Earth's vulnerability. I can't remember the name of it right now, but it was
this global warming thing going
yeah,
on.
well,
Nobody's
there you go.
really sure if that's
and
really
you want to
going
know what?
on.
Many people who watched that were horrified. They showed it in some schools, and they said, "How dare they showed scare students." I thought it was wonderful because it brought awareness.
But I also heard there were quite a few inconsistencies in it too.
And you know what? Of course they're gonna, and then again, you know what? There will always be a debate and a rebuttal to any subject.
Yeah. There's always going to be another opinion.
There's
sure.
always going to be, and that's part of our uniqueness.
Yeah.
I've heard them, reviewers and commentators say that there's a lot of inconsistencies. Why? Does he want to just scare people?
Who knows what his
Or does he
motive
want to
is.
bring them awareness?
I don't know. Sometimes
Well,
I
you know
wonder.
what? I don't really care why he did it. I
Right.
can tell you that I'm sitting here, and a lot of what he said resonates with me, and I didn't get it. I'm not running for office.
Well, I haven't really seen it, so I'd have to take a look at it to really make an opinion myself.
God bless
I'm
you.
only
I would
knowing what
invite
I've
you to
heard.
watch it because it brings awareness, but I can tell you that, and I'll repeat that again, I'm not running for office, but a lot of what he said resonates because, all we have to do is look at what's happening around the world
Yeah.
and say, why?
Right.
Why are these
Why?
things happening?
And why now? We didn't get into why.
Well,
why now?
Well, we started to, yes.
Yes.
2012 being the so-called cut
yeah.
date.
Yeah. Right.
Well, I don't believe, and you know what, the manifestations of these natural events is sort of validating what the Omega God Force has shown me, which is it's here now.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the whys now and not 2012 is sort of a paradox because on one end is because there has been such a rise of spiritual consciousness that rise is actually creating an accelerated shift in the earth.
Okay.
Okay, and it is shifting it. Moving it from a third dimensional state up into fourth and fifth,
Fourth and fifth dimension.
which is lighter, more
Right,
unified,
right.
healthier earth. Okay.
okay.
And then on the other side of that, the paradox is that it's also been accelerated from 2008 to 12 because we may not make it to 2012, you see, because of all the damage that the earth has.
If we're not going to make it to 2012, what will happen in that
Well,
event?
I just said, you know what, there's powerful,
You mean like an Armageddon?
they will be manifestations, but that's why there's many beautiful beings as myself, and I'm not calling myself beautiful, but I'm saying that are coming out.
You are.
And God bless, from my soul level, I am. But there's beautiful gurus, mentors around the globe teaching this. What is his name? Eckhart Tolle, that New Earth book that was released a couple of months ago that everybody is talking about. God bless, talks about the name alone, a new earth.
Okay.
He wrote The Power of Now a couple of years ago, and it was about what I teach, raising conscious awareness, your thoughts have power. And out of left field, he came out with a book about, 6-9 months ago that's called New Earth. And it's talking about the changes and the shifts that the earth is going through. And millions of people have tuned into a telecast that Oprah Winfrey is offering surrounding this book, which
Right.
I applaud because, and I celebrate, we all should applaud it because those are millions of people who, you see, who are gaining that awareness and saying, wait a minute, what can I do? What can I change?
Just
What
like
is
the book The
this?
Secret that she was also applauding on her show, The Secret.
Oh, The Secret, yes.
Yeah.
Well, that's right.
That's another one that...
That was a personal growth book that was inviting readers to learn about their beautiful spiritual potential, that creative potential.
And now they can also grow.
And they can grow.
Right.
The earth, the new earth, is more, as I said, focusing on the shifts that are going on in the world.
So what it boils down to is that we're all a bunch of children that need to grow up.
Yes.
Go from kindergarten to high school graduation or even college, and get there with more thoughts of more positive thoughts and more positive actions.
Absolutely, and by recognizing that we need to heal ourselves,
Yeah.
heal our lives, and then help heal the world. And that, in that order, because we can't heal the world if you're not healed. So it starts on an individual level, to then bring it to the level of your life, and then to bring it to the level of the world. But
how do we do that? I mean, there are people that are hurting in a lot of ways. They're hurting in their relationships. They're hurting financially. They're hurting because life just isn't what they hoped it would be. And so how do we heal ourselves so that we can move on and be happy? I mean, what are the things we do have to do? The positive thing is be happy.
And do you realize that being happy is a state of mind?
That's
that
right.
No circumstances that are surrounding you
Yeah.
and any situation that you are experiencing has to do with really being happy. You can choose to be in a state of happiness regardless of what your life
Regardless
is.
of our desires and what's going on in our
That's
lives.
right.
That's right. It comes from within. And we could be happy and poor and happy and alone, but...
And I like to answer that further. So what can we do? Because I just wanted to say
Right,
that happiness
exactly.
is a state of being.
Right.
However, if someone is happy out there, and there is a lot of unhappy people who are not fulfilled, who are suffering, you know what? Do not drown in that. Do not choose to stay in that space of justification, of victimization, and instead look at what you can do, what choices you can make, execute, and shift so that you are no longer in that situation.
That's right. And you can change your life, too.
Of course. We have
Instead of
choice.
sitting around feeling sorry for yourself, woe is me, poor me, you get out there and change it. You're the only one that can change.
Mm-hmm.
Change yourself and then change the things around you.
Yes. And by the way, for as pained as the earth is, and it is because it's carrying all this burden, if someone is suffering, as we just talked about, believe it or not, they can still step out into the earth, into the waters, into nature, and if nothing else, receive healing from the earth so that they can get inspired energy and the strength and courage that they need to make whatever changes they have to make.
And all you have to do that is be open to it.
Open and willing, yes.
Yes, open and willing
Yes.
to receive what you can receive.
Yes.
Yeah.
I like to also say something, and we were talking about the news earlier, and it's convenient, or sometimes it's something that we do because we want to protect ourselves from receiving and experiencing all this anxiety. So when there's horrible news like this, and I've always advocated not to watch this type of news, we could just shut the TV off, and make believe that it's not happening. Or take a few minutes and say, well, geez, that's really tragic. But I've got my life. I've got to go to work. I've got to,
I got
do the
things to
laundry.
do. I can't
I've
let
got
it get
too
me
much
down.
shit to do to worry about this right now, so I'll say a quick Hail Mary and, or, send them some light and
move
go.
on.
And that's all beautiful, but, what I want to say is we don't feel the intensity or the impact of it because it's happening across the other side of the world. We don't want to wait until it happens in our backyard.
Right.
And there is no bias. You know, this is not a third world country, or, you know, it's a part of the world. And why it chose to manifest there, well, we should just give blessings that, you know, that we still have an opportunity to take a proactive stance and to, you know, heal the earth and heal ourselves and go out and put that beautiful energy out there before it's in our backyard.
That's right. It's
know?
up to us to do it. We have to collectively come to the conclusion that this needs to be done and do it, and not feel that I'm only one person, so what good am I going to do? Well, if everybody felt that way, nothing would happen. But if
That's
each
right.
individual took their own individuality and put out all this positive stuff, and enough people did it, it would snowball into something really good for everybody.
You know what? You ever get those chain mails, those beautiful chain mails
Yeah,
where it says,
yeah.
you know, with the beautiful prayers, and,
Right.
you know, if you send it to 10 people,
Right.
something great will happen.
Right.
And it'll say, on the subject line, change the last digit. And have you ever looked at some of those emails? You know, there's 500,000 people who actually receive that email.
Yeah.
At least I've experienced some, which is, you know, 500,000, blah, blah, blah. And I'm saying, like, wow, that's amazing.
And just add one.
500,000 people looked at this email. Well, you know what? There it is.
Yeah.
You know, so when we think about that, oh, what difference am I going to make? Well, you tell someone who tells someone who tells
Right,
someone
right, sure,
who
just
tells
spread
someone
around.
else. And, you know, we just said earlier, you know, call 10 people tonight when you watch this show and say, you know what? You should watch this show. Maybe, you know, something about it will inspire you to change something, to heal something in your life.
Right.
And maybe those 10 people will call 20 people.
Yeah.
And before you know it, maybe we'll get into those millions.
Yeah, right. They'll tell two friends and so on and so on.
Right? It's a good intention to
Oh, sure,
set.
absolutely. The only thing is, though, I mean, there is still so much evil in the world. We know that.
Well, you know, Christine, God bless. I like to invite the viewers and everyone that I come in contact with to change that word, you know, to transform it into low vibration, because evil is such a heavy word and it separates immediately.
Yeah.
As soon as you hear that word evil, is stay away from me. You know, I'm not you because you're evil. A low vibrational, you know, if you say, you know, that, you know, yes, the situation or that individual is, you know, choosing to be in low vibration, you're not separating them from you or from the rest of the world. And you can still, you know, make your, the observation that they're not vibrating where they can or where they should be. But that word evil is, you know, probably that's why people are so evil, because we've labeled them
As evil.
as, you know, this evil, you know, right? What does when you hear that word, what do you think of?
Think of somebody who's doing bad things, who's doing things
Bad.
that are hurtful.
Hurtful, right?
Hurtful to others.
So how can, you know, so immediately that person has to feel separated, no?
Well, yeah, I guess so.
So how can then, you know, in other words, we're not supporting anyone to heal or to come into a field of healing by saying that they're evil. We're not.
But it's
We're
better
actually
to say that they're on a low vibration.
Well, again, and you know, when people may say, well, you know, you're just playing with words. Am I? Well, you know, words have power. And if I say to you, you know, you're vibrating at a low frequency right now, Christine, you still have a choice, and I'm actually supporting you. Rise, you know, shift where you're at right now, your thoughts, your expression,
It's more positive.
to a more positive, and I'm still supporting you. But the minute I tell you you're evil, guess what? You feel separated from me, and I'm separating myself from you too. So I'm not supporting you anymore.
Right.
Of course that the world is separated.
Yeah, sure. All right, well, let's just encapsulate now, we're coming toward the end of the show, what we can do on a personal basis to help make the earth a better place so that as we head toward Ascension, toward 2012, we can have a better experience, a more pleasant experience that for ourselves personally as we go into this different realm, as you're saying, that we're going to go into, that we're working on going into as we speak.
Very fundamentally, you know, and very simple to do, and everyone who watches the show can do this this very moment after the show finishes, is step outside, look at the skies, put your hands on the ground, on the soil, go touch a flower, go hug a tree, acknowledge that the earth has given us so much and that it's hurting, that it needs love, healing. One simple act like that, okay, can immediately start healing the world. The earth is wounded, and we are healers. We can start healing the earth the very moment that we take any one of those actions. The earth will deliver back healing energy to us, and then we can start looking at ourselves, as we said earlier. What can I change? What kind of action? What kind of emotion? God, can it make a difference? And if it can, then I want to do this because, you know what, I want to be part of this wonderful new rebirth, and I want to be able to see myself, my family, my friends, my children, my grandchildren get there without having to have these painful shifts that the earth is creating because it's in so much pain, like these 100,000 people.
If you love yourself and you love your family and you have love in your heart as far as everything is concerned, do these things to keep the momentum going.
To raise the vibration, the frequency that we're operating on, yes. It will make all the difference in the world.
And we have to just keep thinking positive thoughts and keep thinking about how we can improve our lives, how we can improve ourselves so that we can improve the world for humanity.
Yes, yes. And I'd like to add, of course, that the endeavor of the show today is to inspire anyone. You know, we're at the spiritual path. They can go on the website. They can reach you. The endeavor is not to create fear or isolation, but to make you hungry so that you can seek knowledge, awareness, and become proactive. We need all the help that we can.
Right, we need as many people as possible to become more positive so that we could add to all the positive energy that's in the world and make it even more positive so that perhaps we can, you know, save the earth.
Well, yes, or help it transcend. It's going to survive. We want to make sure that the people in it survive. The earth is going to survive. We want to make sure that the beautiful souls that are here move with this beautiful transition.
And what do you think, how is it going to feel when we're in this we're in this transition, but I mean, are we going to be feeling differently, seeing things differently?
Once the ascension takes place?
Yeah.
Absolutely. It is a beautiful place because it's a lighter place, not as dense. We've moved away from a separational state to a place of collectiveness, of a field of oneness.
Oneness with each other.
So there's going to be many changes, and I sense, Christina, that we'll have a part 2 to the show and talk about that.
Well, we got a lot of shows coming up, I'm sure.
But it's all beautiful, and so, you know, we'll leave them with that beautiful seed of intention that Ascension is a transition into a beautiful place. But we shouldn't take that for granted to say, well, you know, Dr. Greenberg said that it's beautiful, so why should I do anything?
No, we can't. We have to get involved.
You know what I said, that the earth is going to transcend.
Right.
We want to make sure that the souls in it transcend with it.
Right.
And that's not the guarantee. You know, that's what we're working towards.
Right.
To taking all those beautiful souls to that new transition.
I imagine that there probably will be people who won't get it and not move on with everybody else.
Well, you know what, we started the program, you know what, there's a lot of beautiful volunteers. On a soul level, no one perishes, but continues on at another state of beingness. This is just an experience. So we have to just remember that if there's any, you know, if anyone perishes, well, it's only in this realm that they do. Life is eternal, and the soul is as well.
So you're saying that people will perish, but people who kind of get it and move on into the positive and do these changes that we're talking about will not perish. They'll just ascend.
They will ascend, yes.
And by ascend, we mean that they will, in body and soul, go into a different realm, a different...
Move into another frequency, yes.
Move into another frequency and continue living this particular life.
Well, life will be different.
Yes, I know, right.
And so it will not be
it'll still be a
this life,
continuation, though,
but it will
right?
be a continuation of their, yes, of their experience at another level
On this earth.
of experience.
On Earth.
On the new earth.
On the new Earth, I see.
On the new earth.
The
Like
new
I said, we can take this to another show.
Oh, I'm sure
and
we
talk
can.
about
Talk
those.
about the new
So
earth.
what is the new earth? And
Right.
concentrate on that aspect.
Yes, yes.
And that place will be kindergarteners again,
Okay,
kind of learning how to live a new life.
that's right, that's right. Well, so far, this experience has been a very good conversation here, very interesting.
God bless. Thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to come and to share this insight. I'm sure that
I
it
thank
will
you
be
for
a
doing that.
Contribution to anyone who's watching it,
I
even if
hope
it's
so.
a spark.
I hope so. I hope
So-
so. In the meantime, thank you for coming.
God bless. Thank
God bless
you
you
for
too,
having me
and
here.
God bless everyone out there. And I hope you enjoyed the show, and I hope this gave you some insight into what to expect as far as the new realm that we're going into now that's going to supposedly culminate in 2012. Thank you for watching tonight. Have a good night. Take care now.